and Happy New Year to all of you. You guys have probably noticed that I've been putting up recently a little series of just looking back on the end of 2017 since little Teo joined our family. I've just been making a number of vlogs, but as I was going through some of that footage from 2017, I realized that I have captured a lot of the homeschooling / unschooling that I have been doing with my son this last year in 2017, and I realized that I have enough footage to make a video about it. So that is what I'm doing, and so I thought I would just hop on here to just give you a little bit of introduction to that. I haven't talked about homeschooling on my channel in a while. I made a whole video like a year ago or something like that, you know, debating on whether we wanted to homeschool in the first place. I will link that video here if you're interested in seeing it, just like all of my thoughts on homeschooling and everything and why we are considering homeschooling. And so I feel like now would be a really good time to update you guys on what we've been doing and how we've been going about it, and our thoughts going forward at this point for our son. Without going into it too much, because this is actually a topic that I'm thinking I would like to talk about more on my channel, which I really haven't talked very much about at all actually on my channel, but just about my son and his academic needs. I've debated so long about whether I should talk about it on this channel, but I feel like it could be beneficial to someone. So anyway, without actually making that video now and just kind of, you know, giving you guys just a little Cliff Notes version of what's going on. Basically, my son is gifted. And now I know that there's so much baggage around that word gifted, and I really wish that there was another word for it. But granted, in the academic world, that is the word that is used. In a nutshell, he basically, you know, he knew all of his letters and their sounds by like 15 months. He was starting to read before he was 2. You know, and all through his toddlerhood, he was obsessed with letters, shapes, numbers, all these things. And I was like barely even like teaching him these things. He was just learning them by osmosis. And now, fast forward, he is now 4.5, and he is reading at a 1st, 2nd grade level. And this is without me even like pushing it very much at all. This is basically just him following his own interest and desire to learn, and he has basically taught himself these things, you know, with me providing the opportunities for him to learn them basically as he's showing the interest, if that makes sense. So for that reason, we recognize that he is gifted and twice exceptional. Now, I'm not even going to go into what that means. Those of you who have kids who are twice exceptional probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But we're still trying to navigate that whole world right now. But all of this is to say, without me going into too much detail, because I could talk forever and a day about this whole topic. I'm very passionate about it. But his educational needs are already very different than his peers. And that is the main reason that we are wanting to homeschool when he starts kindergarten next year. And basically what we are going to do is there is a program in our school district that is like a hybrid program where the kids actually go to school for part of the week and actually are in a class and have that classroom setting, so they still very much have that social experience that I think is so important that kids really get from that group learning environment, but you also do the other part of your schooling at home. So at this point we are, I'd say 90% sure that that's what we are going to do when he starts kindergarten in the fall. And so this last year, he's in pre-kindergarten right now, and that's been fine. We mostly are sending him for the social aspects. We really want him to learn how to take direction from other adults, you know, just learn all of the social stuff that you learn from being with a group of kids your own age, you know. And he really has been learning that. It's really been good for him, I think, socially to be in a regular old pre-kindergarten class in preschool last year. So that's been great. But academically, obviously, he's pretty bored. So that is the discrepancy that we are going to be trying to make up for by doing this hybrid homeschooling program with him. So this last school year, when he started pre-K, I decided that I was going to start a little bit more formally doing homeschool in addition to him, you know, because he just goes 3 afternoons a week to preschool. So there's plenty of time for me to add in a lot of other academic stuff, which I was kind of doing anyway, which is basically unschooling, which is where you are teaching as their interests lead. You know, you just use teachable moments right, left, and center, and whatever they are interested in, you give them that information. So we have continued doing that into this year, plus adding a little bit more formal instruction. I have just been going off a little bit of, you know, kindergarten curriculum, just filling in the gaps of things that he didn't already know how to do. So that is what I have been doing this year. And really at this point, I'm not using any formal curriculum, which is what makes it more unschooling. We have a couple of kindergarten workbooks, and I'm kind of using that as my basis for, oh, they're covering this topic and this topic and this topic, I guess I should teach them this and that. And so I actually have him do those workbooks sometimes, but more often we just do like hands-on learning. And for example, like, let's learn about how to tell time today, because that was one of the things they start learning in kindergarten, like reading an analog clock. So we spent an hour doing that one afternoon, and he got it. He knows how to read an analog clock now. For example, that's just kind of how we have been approaching homeschool this year, is just like that. And a lot of it is just him pursuing his interests, and he is extremely interested in astronomy. That is his special interest. And like, this kid, I tell you, he is going to be an astronomer or a planetary scientist or something of the like when he grows up. This kid, he knows more about astronomy than I do. Like, he's teaching me. So I've been just really letting him go with that topic, and it has been so amazing and fun to watch him. He just absorbs it like it's nothing. He is constantly reading books. He is watching shows all the time that have to, like, adult shows. Like, he likes watching like Nova specials and, you know, things like that, about the solar system, YouTube videos. There's like all sorts of material out there, learning materials. And so he's been pursuing that. So it's basically, I've been just letting him, you know, lead the way, and along the way just kind of picks up all of the stuff that he needs to know. And I have just been kind of filling in the gaps with like math and reading and writing and spelling concepts and that kind of thing, and he's picking it up. So that's just kind of the approach that we've taken this year. It's been very informal, mostly unschooling, with him leading the way and me just filling in the gaps with no formal curriculum of any kind. Now, next year when we officially start kindergarten, I might actually do a little bit more of a formal curriculum with a scheduled time, that kind of thing. Whereas time-wise, sometimes we do it on Thursdays because that's a day that we have free, but sometimes we don't. Usually it's just like, as a topic comes up, you know, I see, oh, this is a learning opportunity, let's learn about it. So that's kind of how we've been doing it. So that's just kind of what's been going on homeschooling wise for us this year, this school year. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update about that. And if you guys are interested in learning more about gifted and twice exceptional kids, that's something I have been learning so much about the last few years, and I really haven't talked about it really at all on my YouTube channel, and I think I'm getting to a point where I am ready to start talking about that stuff. So if you are interested, leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up and let me know, because I would love to talk more about what I've been learning about all this stuff and how we're going to be approaching education for a precocious little guy. Anyway, that said, I'm making this video right now, which is like a part 1 of me just explaining what we've been doing homeschooling wise. And then part 2 will just be, I'm gonna just make a montage of clips of us actually homeschooling, because there have been times when I'm like, oh, this is so much fun that we're doing this. I'm like, oh, look, we have a learning moment right now. Let me pull out my phone and record it. So it's definitely not comprehensive. It's not gonna show every little thing that we do homeschooling wise or unschooling wise, but it just gives you a good glimpse and idea into what we've been doing. So Anyway, keep a lookout for that. That will be coming after this video. And if you are homeschooling or unschooling or more interested in learning about those topics, be sure to subscribe, because I would love to learn from you guys as well. If you are already doing that with your kids, I'd definitely be interested in having community with you guys about that, because this is a whole new world to me. This is like uncharted territory for me, and you know, something that I never even thought I would be doing. So it's kind of exciting and kind of cool, a little bit scary at the same time. But anyway, I would love to go on that journey with you guys. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button if you want to see more videos like this coming up in 2018. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you later. Bye.